I started TikTok, I was 37.
Oh,
And
wow, okay.
for a lot, yeah, I'm not a young spring chicken anymore. You've got one life and you've got to make the most of it. So
Mm.
at a time where I was kind of disengaged with work, I was like, all right, well, if I try this and then after 6 months or 12 months it doesn't work, I'll just get another job.
DJ AG,
Hello,
welcome.
hello. Going on? What's going on?
I'm excited. I'm excited to have you. Thank you for making the time.
Listen, we got to make time for our people, man. It's important.
You're someone I've been super excited to talk to because you're on quite a unique path and you're quite a rare person on that unique path. I feel like lots of people are going to be able to resonate to your story and the journey that you've been on so far.
Good. Well, listen, I'm happy to be here and I look forward to the questions. I don't like to pre-plan, pre-prepare. It's just like you throw the questions at me and I'll answer them for you.
Off the cuff. I love that. Okay, brilliant. So if by some miracle someone doesn't know who DJ AG is, how do you sum up what you do and who you are?
Great question. So I'm an open format DJ from London. I just literally go out and just bring joy to people, from going to the care homes, playing music for our elders, and just giving them that time, all the way through to stepping out on the streets in different locations, playing music, interacting, and showcasing talent.
Amazing. That's a more modest introduction than I would give if I
Okay.
was named Time Out Magazine's Londoner of the Year. That's what I would have started with. I don't know. I don't know. How
Yeah.
did that come about? How did you feel after that happened?
No, look, it's great to be recognized. I love being recognized. But for me, I'm not the forefront of this. It's not about me. It's
Yeah.
about being a servant to our community and trying to bring happiness at a time where it's a very dark place. So you'll notice that in my Instagram or all my other socials, some other people put, "Oh yeah, I won this, I won that. I'm the award winner for that." I don't need to do that. Like, it can all be explained in the content that I post, and judge me for that. But it's great to receive accolades, of course. But it's not about me.
When you say that, do you know what? It feels organic. It feels authentic. It feels like you genuinely mean that. Before you became DJ at AG, as we know you now, what were
Yeah.
you doing? If I met you back then, how would you have introduced yourself to me?
So prior to sort of the TikTok and the DJing online, I was a sales manager at a FTSE 250 company, and I was managing, I don't know, 120 people under
Wow.
12 team leaders. And yeah, it was like sales and retention. So that's what I was doing. I worked my way up, and I still was DJing. I was doing DJing, I was quiz mastering as well after hours, and then obviously doing my 9 to 5.
Yeah. After you've pivoted, you've transitioned, you're doing what you're doing now, and
Yeah.
that comes with the recognition and everything that that comes with. Have there been any pinch me moments for you? Because from the outside looking in, we can obviously see lots of things happening and think, oh my
Yeah.
God, this is incredible. But what for you has felt like a pinch me moment?
Was for like a pinch me moment. Meeting Will Smith was amazing.
Yeah.
Someone that I grew up with, watching him on BBC and Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and enjoy it. That was my time. Like, get home from school, do my homework in time, so that I could watch Fresh Prince of Bel Air and obviously Simpsons as well, because they kind of came at the same time. Um, so to then, so then to meet him in person, how humble he was, really he was excited, and to be able to be with him on the streets, and it felt like he needed that love at a time where it's a bit hit and miss in terms of how people feel about him due to whatever happened with him and Chris Rock. For me, to be able to just to make that moment was a
Mm.
was a great moment. Probably a pinch me. I don't get starstruck by anyone, but that was a great moment.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to the after school kind of schedule that you have for yourself. And Fresh
Yeah,
Prince was on my schedule as well, 100%.
absolutely.
You were a sales manager before,
Mm.
and then you've obviously transitioned into being a DJ. What was the context that sparked the thought of that pivot? And then what was the actual catalyst that took that thought into action?
Well, look, my two kids, Sari and Kai, they were like, "Oh, like dad, like go on to TikTok." And I was like, "Nah, man, I'm not going on to TikTok because that's for kids. So
Yeah.
nah, we'll leave that alone." And then I think the catalyst was being passed up for a job opportunity, and that really annoyed me because I had worked hard. I'd gone above and beyond. So sometimes when you get a promotion and
Mm.
you're not quite ready, but that organization will help you, support you, coach you, give you the
Yeah.
things that you need, and to not get that support was very frustrating for me. So I was like, look, man, I got to do something else. I need to maybe take matters into my own hands and take control of my own life. And life's short, right? So why not take a calculated risk? I went on TikTok for 3 months every day whilst working. In the morning, going on TikTok, going to work. Lunchtime, TikTok, back to work. After work, back on TikTok. Done it for 3 months every day. I was like, look,
Wow.
can I make enough money to survive? One. And then two, do I enjoy it? And I have to enjoy it. And I ticked both those boxes. So I was like, look, it's time to leave. And I just left. And this, the rest is history.
What's your decision making process or how you approach making big decisions like that?
I don't overthink them, if I'm honest. There is a
Mm,
logic. There is a logic. And a lot of my decision making is going to be calculated.
yeah.
But if you sit there going back and forth every single day, you're never going to make that decision. So for me, it's just like, look, take a calculated risk and just see how we get on. And the worst thing that can happen is it just doesn't work. That's it. Doesn't work. And you go back to square one.
Doing what you was already doing. But as logical as that sounds, when the
Mm,
emotion of your day to day comes into it and you've got a family and you've got bills and all of this kind of thing, I think a
mm.
lot of people are in that position where they might not be in the role they want to be or the company they want to be in, but there's a fear factor
Of
that
course.
stops them from like actually jumping in and doing the thing they want to do. And in
Mm.
your story, where you said that you showed up every single day for 3 months, there's a tenacity that comes with that. And I just want you to like break down for anyone listening who is in a similar position, break down what are the factors that had to align for you to be like, okay, this is the thing that makes sense. This is the thing that feels like a calculated risk.
It was just two. Can I survive? So can I pay my mortgage? Can I pay for things?
Mm.
And do I enjoy it? That was it. I'm a very simple man, you know. I like to, I'm calculated and it will always be a logic, but
Yeah.
I don't want to be wasting too much time because when I started TikTok, I was 37.
Oh,
And
wow, okay.
for a lot, yeah, I'm not a young spring chicken anymore. So for me, it's like, look, it's one, got one life to live. I don't believe in reincarnation. So you've got one life and you've got to make the most of it. So
Mm.
at a time where I was kind of disengaged with work, I was like, all right, well, if I try this and then after 6 months or 12 months it doesn't work, I'll just get another job. That's what I'll do. And I planned it. I was like, look, if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna Uber because then at least I'm not stuck with someone telling me what to do per se. Yes,
Right.
I'm still on an app. It's still not mine completely, but it'll be a self-employed, and no one is telling me what to do. I rely on myself, and I know what I'm like as a person. There's many people that cannot outwork me. Like you can't. Like
Yeah.
I'm on smoke. So I just kind of wanted to just demonstrate that, and then why give the energy to a company that are not investing back into me? So
Mm.
I'm giving you all the ideas. We're going into meetings. Here's all the ideas. I'm working extra hours after work. I'm
Yeah.
going above and beyond doing things that are not even part of my role. And then for you to not help me, no way. Absolutely not. I'm out. And I was out. That's it. So
Yeah.
it was a very easy decision once I could prove that I could survive financially.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's like being able to have a proof of concept or like start doing the thing in the smallest possible increment, build it up to the point where it's like, okay, this actually feels feasible. I can cover my essentials with this and then take the risk because it's almost riskier to not take the risk. You're still, it feels safe, but it's almost like an illusion of safety, particularly in the world that we live in today.
Correct, yeah. And look, no one's indispensable when you're working for someone else. No one is indispensable. You can be moved at any
Mm.
time. So for me, I think taking risks is important as long as they are calculated to the best of your ability. And the
Yeah.
worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, you just do something else. I was willing to sell my house. Obviously, it's a mortgage. I don't own it, but yeah. So I was willing to sell my house. I was willing to do whatever to just get out and just try something else. And
Yeah.
thankfully, it's paid off in terms of just having the ability to survive. I'm not the richest person. Like my cash flow is still crazy, but to be able to be out here just doing what I want to do on a day-to-day basis, to wake up, to feel excited is a wonderful feeling. The first maybe 12 months, I was still in fear. Like I still was having sleepless nights. I still was like, oh, what if? But
Yeah.
if you turn up every day and you give it your best shot, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's my mentality.
No, 100%. So after you've made the pivot and you're DJing full time now, it probably didn't start off as the DJ AG that we will see, know, and love now. Like
Yeah.
you had to start and build up to that point. So in the early stages, were there any challenges that you faced? Any stories you could tell us about what those challenges were?
So it didn't start off outside on the streets, that's for one. So it started off inside for the first year. It was inside, it was DJing in my kitchen.
Okay,
Um,
the first year.
oh yeah. So in my
Okay.
kitchen. So combination of my kitchen, sitting down, speaking to my community. On
Mhm.
TikTok, you do battles, you do co-hosting, so you're building your community. So there's a lot of that sort of work.
Yeah,
To trying to find ways to monetize because with TikTok it's very interesting. 70% of revenue is generally from battling someone. So basically it's
yeah,
like a boxing match. You go into a co-host with someone else, you start a game, people will gift, and then the person who has the most points wins. And I was doing things like forfeits, like the person with the lowest score has to eat a chili or dirty pint, or you gotta run out and knock on your neighbor's door and ask for tissue because yeah, we my first year, the way how I was monetizing was interesting, but it was enjoyable at the same time, and the community enjoyed it. And once I'd made enough money, like after the first year, I was like, oh, I'm a bit bored now. Like I've done this now. Like I'm a bit bored.
yeah,
So what can I do next? I saw a guy called Suat. So Suat was a walking DJ outside. I didn't even know that was possible to even do that. You know, you could even have a set outside like that, walking
yeah.
around, going to shopping centers, causing havoc, playing his funky music, chunky house stuff. I was like, oh, cool. Look, I'm gonna replicate his setup, but do it in my own way with my own style of music.
Mm,
So that was year two, and then start going outside and being with the community, understanding that it's a dark place, how I could bring happiness to people.
yeah.
Um, then we started bringing artists in. So yeah, that's kind of been the journey.
For people
Yeah.
pivoting, I think it's always I don't know. One of the deterrents is like it almost feels like you have to have the end goal planned
Mm-hmm.
out, figured out today before you can even get started. Do
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, like, it's a ever evolving beast,
Mm,
and as you meet people, I like to watch other content, see what's going on, and sometimes by watching someone else's content, that will spark an idea. Like,
yeah,
oh, like let me add that to my Arsenal thing. So when I first started TikTok, I never envisioned that going outside was even possible. I never
yeah,
thought about how I would support the community. I never even thought about. I thought about going into care homes, but not in. I wasn't sure how it would work. So yeah, for me, like my journey is ever evolving, and every day I've got a new idea that
yeah,
maybe I can add based on an experience or a meeting or networking or watching content or just an idea from someone.
yeah. I've got a little behind the scenes story for you actually.
Okay.
When I was at the conference Black Tech Fest a few
Yeah.
weeks ago,
Yeah.
I went with my friend Koi, who hosts the Safe Space show, and
Yes.
we were sat in the audience and we're listening to you speak. And I hadn't really like properly I listened to your sets, obviously, but not heard you speak
Yeah.
prior to that conference.
Mm.
And you started to talk about what this actually is for you.
Yeah.
And you said, not to make it awkward by quoting you or anything, but you said something along the lines of you didn't want to be the richest person in the graveyard. And it wasn't
Mm.
about fame, but it was about genuine community impact. And what you
Yeah.
really want to do was actually help people.
Mm.
And me and Koi looked at each other and she said, do you know what? I believe him. And I said, yeah, same. And that for me was when I knew that I really wanted to have a conversation with you because I think a lot of people say that and say something along those lines, but actually doing the work of it to actually demonstrate that community impact and influence, like going to care homes, like going to schools, I think that's really quite rare. My question for you is how do you balance that genuine desire to give back and help people with the practical stuff like paying bills and keeping the lights on, particularly in the early stages?
Yeah. It's still a challenge now. That's the
Mm,
honest truth. It is still a challenge now. But how do I balance it out? To cut a long story short, so my first year, there were no outgoings. It was just Wi-Fi, electricity, because I was indoors, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, I didn't have any staff or anything like that to in the need to support them. So that was quite easy in turn. That was easy. I just knew if I'd done the hours and I followed a certain formula on TikTok, I would be fine.
Yeah.
And I was fine. When I started going outside, I just had an editor. That's it. So I had to just pay an editor. Oh, that's easy. That's fine. All good.
Yeah.
So that was fine. Now it's a bit more complicated because there's obviously a lot more people involved. And I find that with TikTok now, because they think I've made it, they don't donate like they used to because they see me getting accolades and the rest of it, so they don't. So that does make it a challenge because
Mhm.
I still need the support. That is the reality. We don't charge anyone. I go to a care home, I don't charge. The artists come on, don't charge. And we're still doing the edits, putting out all of the content. Got to pay for travel. You got to pay for the editors. We've got a couple of interns. So there's a lot of outgoings. Thankfully, we've had some like good brands come in. So I've had a couple of good brand deals. So, Wingstop have been really supportive and they've helped. I've had a Garnier activation. So I've had some activations that have meant that I've been able to keep the lights on. And
Mhm.
that's probably a formula that will follow until we can find a way for us to sustain. And maybe that's going to be getting into the event space, the merchandise that we've yet to sell. And I
Yeah.
think we'll be able to kind of maybe sustain better in that way, getting things onto Spotify. So there is a plan at hand. It's just you need hands to deal with it. And we've got a lot of
100%.
spinning plates right now.
Yeah.
But look, like I said, look, the lights are on. Everyone's getting paid, which is good. But yeah, being a rich person in the graveyard isn't my biggest thing. Can't take the money with you is one.
Yeah.
But two, for me, I love giving back, man, and making someone's day like that's very fulfilling for me. I
Yeah.
think I get it from my mum because my mum's a very giving person. She'll give her the last 1p to anyone. I've seen her suffer like growing up as well, just giving back and even little things like being in the kitchen and she has the last bit of the rice and that rice is burnt, but it's just the little things that I remember through to role models like Ian Wright giving back, Robbie G coming to my play scheme at a time where he was at the height of his career, and
Yeah.
giving back by spending that time. So I've taken all these experiences and yeah, let's use our time wisely because tomorrow's not promised, man.
100%. Your outlook, quite consistently, every engagement that I've seen you do has been about giving back. And I wondered where that did come from and how you've built up and also protected that outlook as you've gone through your journey and all the different experiences.
Yeah, it goes back to my mum is definitely a very pivotal person in my outlook in terms of giving back. And look, don't get me wrong, I've been stung a few times,
Wow.
just in the respect, it's like you might lend someone a little bit of money and you don't get the money back. And certain experiences have put me off historically. But my thing is, look, even like with lending money, like my thing is now, if I lend someone money, I just write it off. Like, if
Yeah.
I'm lending you money, I just write it off and just expect that
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it back. And if I get it back, I get it back. It's all good. But yeah, a lot of my outlook comes from my mum, and just like the certain role models that I've had I've been fortunate to go through, like even going play ski, man. People don't go play ski no more, to my knowledge. So
Yeah.
like, that play ski is such a great place to meet people, and for me, the Robbie G's and the Ian Wrights are the kind of equivalent of the influencers, and for me, not enough influencers are truly influencing,
Mm.
and I don't know if that's because of maybe they're scared to. I don't know. Are they scared? Is it just time? They can't afford to spend the time to volunteer, or not, or they've not had the experiences that I've had growing up.
Yeah.
So for me, those experiences of those role models coming in resonate with me greatly. Like meeting Ian Wright was crazy for me because that's someone that I watched on TV, went to the football games, like big Arsenal fan, and to have that space to see him in person, to be able to get up close, that gave me a lot of motivation for a very long time. You know.
Mm.
So I think that's important. So as I grow in influence, my thing is how can I use my influence to the best of my ability? And I think being accessible is important. It's an important thing.
100%. 100%. And I think you're doing a phenomenal job of that. Other than like finances, what
Mm.
paydays were you looking for from the pivot from sales manager into full-time DJ? Was it legacy, control, hope, joy, commitment, community? What other things were you looking for?
The key was just to have the ability to control my own destiny.
Mm.
Um, And that's all I really cared about. And to this day, if I'm honest with you, that's all I really care about. Like to be able to wake up because I've got so many ideas. And
Yeah.
I used to share those ideas in my 9 to 5. I'd be like, yeah, I know how we can make more sales. Like I can make £4 million more if we make this change, or I know we can retain customers by doing this change, that change. And I'm just giving you all my ideas, man. I'm giving you everything, do you know?
Mm.
And I was like, but what am I really getting back? All right, yeah, fine. I've had a couple of promotions or whatever. I've gone from call center agent in 2011 to sales manager. But that was through my hard work. Like, and when you've trusted me in a position maybe I wasn't ready for, I've stepped up.
Yeah.
And when you get a promotion, you're not going to be ready. Like, you're just not. You're going to need a bit of help, you need a bit of support. And that's where the investment comes in. I think going external all the time, it's not a great message. That's the honest, it's not a great message. That's the
Mm.
reality. So control is the main thing. I get to control my destiny. Yes, I'm still on apps. I'm still on TikTok. I'm still on Instagram. I don't own any of these apps. And that's a bigger conversation later on for how I can make my own little thing so that so that I'm even more in control. But yeah,
Mm.
control is an important thing. To wake up, do what I love. It isn't about the payday, man. And if it was, I probably would have taken some brand deals that maybe would have been frowned upon. Could have done a gambling one. I could have done a few different bits. And the gambling brand deal is bread. That's big peas.
Mm.
But it's not just about the money. It's about legacy. It's about control. It's about helping our people at a time where people do need help and they need hope.
Yeah, I can definitely resonate with that. A lot of people that I've spoken to in our Pivots and Paydays community, there is a real fear right now, right? There's recessions looming, there's the cost of living, there's redundancies left, right, and center. That
Yeah.
element of control and stability, it doesn't feel like it's there in the same way that it once was. So I think a lot of people can relate to what you're saying in terms of wanting to do something that lets them have more control over their own destiny, over how they're going to eat and where that money is going to come from. My next few questions are about community. As we know, there's no real shortcut to building community. What
Yeah.
were the principles that you prioritized when it came to building and sustaining your community?
Very basic. A lot of these things I didn't think about. They just kind of happened,
Yeah.
and that's just due to the way I am as a person. Part of that comes from, like I said, my upbringing, and part of it also comes from corporate and the things that I've learned in corporate,
Mhm.
especially being in service and in sales. So for me, the fundamentals are making sure that people feel seen and that they feel like they're being heard, and it's how you talk to people. And for me, it's very simple. So if I'm online, whether you donate to me or you don't donate to me, I will acknowledge you and speak to you and try to get to know you and try to understand your traits, what you like,
Yeah.
and then be able to recite that back to you the next day if you come. Be like, yeah, I remember you. Like, you're from Tottenham. You like the color red. Yeah, spaghetti
Yeah.
bolognese. I said, how was that? It's just basic. It's just basic things to being outside. And if you're dealing with an artist, you deal with them with care. Like, you want to give them a good experience. That's the
Mhm.
whole point. If you're outside and people want to take a picture with you or have a little chat, you give them that time and you just be accessible, and that's the key. But you do it from a good, yeah. For me, it's basic, but I guess that's because I've had so many years of perfecting my service, my sales skills, understanding how to make people feel good. Like,
Yeah, actually talk to me about that because probably unknowingly doing sales actually is helping you quite a lot in what you're doing now. What are the transferable skills that you've been able to bring along with you and how are you leveraging them now?
I remember it. I always use it to this day. But
Yeah.
rapport building is obviously a major one. I think asking the right questions when you need to. So going to certain meetings or when you meet certain people that are trying to do things, it's asking the right questions to then be able to provide a solution. And that's
Right.
what I like. I like solutions. People throw problems at me. I'm like, what's this? We've got to find a solution. I'm not here for let's just find a solution, man.
Yeah.
So I suppose that those are the main ones. But look, the whole sales process, including trial closes, your objection handling. Like, I use those every day,
Yeah.
as and when I need to. But a lot of it is very natural because I've been doing it for so long.
Most people listening won't actually know what the sales process is. If you were to break that down at a high level, what are the steps in that process?
For me, it's just nice and simple. It's the rapport building. It's
Hmm.
asking the right questions, and you need to ask. Asking the right questions is important because if you don't, you can't provide the right solution. So you need to ask the right questions. You need to provide some features and benefits of whether it's a product, whatever it is that you're trying to propose. Then you're going to trial close to see, there's sense of temperature in the room. And if it's a no, then you're going to proceed to objection handling to work out the reasons why they don't want to go for that product or that suggestion,
Yeah,
through to then proposing another solution to try and offset what the objection is,
yeah.
to trial close again and then close. And you try a few times to objection handle. You don't want to annoy people, but you try a few times and then you try and close. Whether it's a suggestion, it's a sell. I use that process all the time. So when I have meetings or things are happening, that's the kind of steps that I follow.
It's isn't it so funny how there are certain frameworks that you learn them in all different facets of life on work, I
Yeah,
guess, but you then take them forward with you. And I think sales is one of those areas that I think it gives you a lot of like life skills without you really
very.
knowing that's what you're learning. So
Yeah,
thank you for breaking that process down, and hopefully people can take bits of that and start to implement and apply them in their own day to day.
of course.
So you mentioned a little bit earlier on that you actually started DJing later on in life, right?
Mm.
What gave you the confidence to like go full on, this is what I want to do, despite what anyone else would have thought, or where doubts may have come in? Like, what gave you the confidence to pursue it anyway?
I think it just goes back to what I said earlier, just in respect of you only got one life to live, and I just chose to take a risk. It's
Mm,
just real simple. Like I try to really not complicate my life because then you get snowed down and bogged down in the ifs and the buts and the maybes, and I was just done. I was just done with corporate. I was done.
yeah.
And I think sometimes when you're done with something, whether it be work or a relationship or a friendship, once
Mm,
I'm done, I'm done. And I will find a way to come out of that situation.
yeah.
And that's what I did. It was just making sure that I didn't leave blindly and have nothing else to walk into. Just like any job, like I've had many jobs that haven't worked out, but I'll never leave that job without having another job. Like it's just not nice and simple.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, look, I've always dabbled in DJing. I was an MC before. I was always DJing. Like 2011 was my first like house party, but I was DJing prior to that anyway, maybe like
Mm,
2005. So I've always been doing it. I just didn't do it full time.
yeah.
And I guess prior to TikTok, I was working in restaurants, pubs, like dingy little clubs. I had to start from the bottom to kind of hone my skills.
Yeah.
And then obviously, look, we are where we are now.
Incredible. There's an emphasis on the jump itself. So when you go from one thing to another, but we think and talk less about what happens when you actually make it. So for you, has everything on this side been as you've expected it? Have there been any surprises, good or bad?
Uh, well, I'd say, first of all, I haven't made it yet. And that's for many reasons. I
Yeah.
think one is like, what is legacy to me? And I've got big plans in terms of what I want to achieve and how I want to do them before my time is done. I've probably got like 10 years of graft at working at this pace in order to get things to where I want them to be.
Yeah.
If I last that long, God willing, like I survive 10 years. So for me, like, I haven't made it. That's one. But I suppose, how can I put this? For me, just building legacy, even on a smaller front, like with the artists, 2024, 2025, they have, like I asked in Black Tech Fest, who are the breakthrough artists for this year, for last
Yeah.
year? Up to now, I'm still waiting for a solid answer on what those 10 people are.
I was
So
so tempted, by the way, to come up on the stage, but I couldn't think of any.
yeah, look, people, and look, there probably are 10 people, is the
Yeah.
reality. But look how hard we all have to think. Look how hard we have to think to
Yeah.
try and get those 10. And there's a lot of talent. So I think trying to build some infrastructure for those people to support those that actually have talent needs to happen.
Mm,
I think the reality is we have to have more platforms like myself that are out there, out and about. I can't cover every single area, it's impossible.
Of
But
course.
just imagine a place where you had like 200, 300 people, 300 DJs around the world, just outside, just bringing joy, peace. This is what it used to be like, you know?
Right.
So this idea isn't it's not a new idea. It's just, we're just in a digital age now. Where, you know, there's more visibility about this type of platform, but you want to see more platforms and give DJs just to help and support they need, because it's not easy outside. Like,
Right.
there's a lot to deal with outside. Through to that, through to how do you support the youth? Like, how do you engage with the elders and have an infrastructure for care homes where you got volunteers going in,
Mhm.
and that those elders are not on their own, because a lot of elders, they don't get no visitors. You think they get visitors?
Yeah.
Everyone's working hard. Everyone's just trying to make ends meet. So there's a lot of work to do from a community standpoint. Even bringing play scheme back. Like, no, play scheme is such an old school thing, but play scheme, like, that was everything. I used to look forward to play scheme like summer holidays. You got 6 weeks. You got this schedule, and it hasn't even got to be crazy. Maybe you're just in the center, and
Yeah.
you're playing table tennis, playing ping pong. You're making friends. Like, there's a bit of outdoor space to do something. You've got tuck shop. I used to love tuck shop, getting the rainbow drops. You know,
Yeah.
it's just basic things.
Bringing back memories now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But look, you know, I hate to be one of those like granddads or whatever that say back in my day, but there are some things from our previous space that we can take
Yeah.
that will work. It will work, and it will change a lot if we can just bring back some basic things. So for me, we have got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So I haven't made it, and look, financially, I'm not stable. You know, I can just about pay my bills. People think I'm earning a lot of money, but there's profit and loss, man. And when you got a lot of outgoings and you're not charging people. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So this concept really shouldn't work in theory, but it does.
And there we go. But it does. And it will
It
continue to
does.
do so. I think we're witnessing the beginning of something pretty monumental with you. I think
Yeah.
there's so many places you could take this. You just tapped into so many, like, the dots are connecting in my head in terms of like things you could do. But I'm sure
Mm.
you've already got like a whole roadmap of things that you're going to do. And yeah, as I say, we're excited to see. We're excited to see it grow.
Listen, feedback is always. I don't always think I've cracked it and I've got all the answers. So sometimes I like
Yeah.
having a conversation with someone. They might, be like, "Have you considered this? Have you considered that?" And sometimes I'll be like, "You know what? I haven't even considered that. You know, let me write it
Yeah.
down." So yeah, man. Look, if anyone's got any feedback, you got any suggestions, feel free. It's all good.
I might have some ideas for you. We'll do it off camera. I might have some
Yeah,
ideas for
yeah,
you.
all good. Yeah, all
I
good.
want to take it back slightly to when you didn't get the promotion in your sales job, right? Lots of people would have internalized that and taken that to mean that they are the problem. And obviously you didn't. And I feel like it takes a certain level of mental toughness to still believe in yourself after you've failed or been rejected at something. How did you develop that mental toughness, and how do you apply it day to day, particularly when you're in the situation? It's easier to do it retrospectively.
It goes back to my time in sales and service, right? So for so many years, I've been doing sales, doing service. In actual fact, you know what? My first job was in McDonald's, and in McDonald's, yeah, that's probably my toughest job in terms of just how demanding it is, being shouted at, like. But that built a lot of character, built a lot of resilience, and you know, going into sales service, got a lot of resilience, man. So for every no, you're just a step closer to a yes, and that's just how I looked at it. I'm closer to a yes. I need to get rid of the emotion because they're not emotional about it. They've made a choice. So get rid of the emotion and then focus more on the logic. And what is the logic for me? So at my age, 37, moving to the other side of life, it's time to take a risk. And it's just really as simple as that, man. Like I said, I don't overthink things. I don't worry too much. Like, the worst thing that can happen is you just find another job. If it doesn't work, just find another job. If you've got to downgrade your yard for a little while, just downgrade. If I had to move back in with my mum or my dad, I would have done it. I would have done it. You just do what you gotta do. That's it. This is the
Correct.
real, yeah. This is the real pursuit of happiness, man. You just gotta do what you need to do. and that's what I did.
When you were getting ready to take this leap, was there a person or community that supported you in doing that? And how did they help?
Well, I was on TikTok, so yeah, it kind of got a bit murky because people at work were watching my TikToks, and then the management were getting a bit funny about it and getting pulled into
Yeah.
meetings. Just like it's just a headache, man. But just in terms of like my family were just really supportive of the choice. Some didn't understand the choice I was making because I was making money in sales, I was doing all right, and coming
Wow.
from Tottenham, from my space, it's perceived that I'd done well. But it can't always be about the money. It has to also be about happiness as well. And once I'd made the decision, my people kind of just got behind me, and they were there more so for emotional support as opposed to anything else. Because I had a lot of sleepless nights, man, for a very long time, just trying to figure out. All right, I've left now, and now, before that, the first 3 months was more like oh yeah, like I'm gonna give it my go, give it my all, work it out. But I still had the safety of my job, of
Yeah.
that regular income coming in. But like I said, I was happy, man. I would have had bread and water. I would have just done what I had to do, sell my car, downgrade, just to try. And if it don't work, at least I can say, you know what, I've tried it,
Yeah.
rather than just staying somewhere where you're not happy, you don't feel wanted.
Absolutely. And what surprises you the most about the person you're becoming through this journey?
What surprises me? I don't think anything surprises me because this is just me as a person. Like it's not fake. I'm not putting it on an act. Like this is just what
Mm.
I'm like, who I am, what I want to be, and just what I want to do. Like I said, every day, like it's more effort from a physical standpoint, like getting to a location, like getting the equipment out, like doing those things. But the actual work in itself is easy. The engaging with people, this is all second nature to me. I love it. This is what I love to do. It's just
Yeah.
so I don't find it a challenge in that respect.
Yeah. I think if you are pivoting and you are starting something new, that one of the best pieces of advice that I've heard people give, and I think it resonates with what you've just said, is make sure what you're building is actually you.
Mm,
Otherwise, you can't sustain it. At some point, it will get tiring. That mask will slip. So, yeah, I love that. What you've built around yourself fundamentally is just you, but on a platform, which is, yeah, it's not gonna be anything brand new. It's just fundamentally just you being yourself, and we all just now get to see it.
that's it.
Okay. Over the next, like, I don't know, 6 to 12 months, or maybe slightly more, is there anything that we should be looking out for from you? What are you most excited about?
Festival. It's my first one.
Yeah.
So Aging Fest. That's what I'm most excited about, and I can't wait I can't wait to just meet everyone on a larger scale and be even more accessible, and just to deliver what I think is going to be a very unique experience for people. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So if you're listening to this right now, make sure you sign up to the mailing list. It's djagonline.com. Sign up to the mailing list. We've got like nearly like 10,000 people that have signed up, which is amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
sign up and then make sure you forward to the. That's my only one ask. Like I don't ask for many things, but if you've got the time to come and support me for my first festival, I'll be very, very grateful, and you won't be disappointed.
I've already signed up. I'm definitely going to come out
Woo!
and support. It's quite exciting as well. I think it's going to be right now. I think people are craving those experiences in real life. Like we've got a
Yeah,
lot of this, right? We've got a lot of on social media or just not in person interactions. But I think people really are craving those communities to actually be around other people. And I think this is what AG Fest is going to really, really provide.
yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it. If you could leave our community of in-betweeners with one key message about their journey and their career path, what would that be?
I think the main thing is I'm going to reiterate again, we have one life to live. We only have one. So take calculated risks. It's a big, wide world out there, is what I'm gonna say. And for me, traveling a little bit has made me realize that in the UK, we are small babies. Like we are small. We are like a fish in a like a you know them little goldfish. We are a goldfish in a very big, wide sea. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to fail. So many leaders that I've spoken to have failed. I've failed multiple times. And when I went to the Powerlist Awards, I heard the stories. I spoke with some people. These are like the top 100 influential people in Britain, and they're like, I failed so many times, and even that
Oh,
gave me a bit of comfort because I was like, raw, like I've actually failed. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried, and it hasn't worked. But finally, I've now got something that has worked. Don't be afraid to fail. Take calculated risks, and just remember, you've only got one life to live. So don't reflect on your life and think coulda, shoulda, woulda. Think I've tried and it's worked or it hasn't worked. So that's my
yeah.
suggestion. And then finally, I said to aid that suggestion, collaboration is a good thing. Being humble, like even from you, like have I got to take advice from you? No, but I'm here for it. Like if you got an idea, I might have not thought about it, so I'm here for that smoke. So don't be afraid to take feedback and collaborate with people, man. Because maybe you've got a business, you might want to do nails, for example, and then someone else wants to do nails as well. You ain't got to do it solo. Like maybe you've got things in common where you can join forces, and that gives you even more strength. Like you just got to look at smart ways to work.
Okay, my final question. Is there someone whose story about pivoting or reinvention really inspires you that we, as the Pivots and Paydays community, need to hear from?
Um, you know what? Idris has got a very powerful story. So Idris Elba, that's who you need on next.
From your lips to his ears, he is a dream guest of mine, actually. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see if we can make that happen.
Okay, let's do it. Listen, got to do it, man. Got to get it done.
We got to shoot our shot. We got to shoot our
That's
shot.
it.
We'll tag him.
That's
We'll
it.
tag him.
That's it. All
AG,
right.
thank you so much for making the time.
No problem at all. Thank you for your time. I'll see you soon. All right.